Okay. So evaluation of ideas, remember, is about presenting your judgment on ideas. All right. Um, and your judgment has to obviously have reasons as well. For example, if you pick up an information from a passage, you need to know why you're picking that information. If you agree with it, you need to have your reasons for the agreement. If you disagree with an information, you need to have your reasons for the disagreement as well. Okay. So this particular question is an example of how evaluation is supposed to be done. Let's look at this important information that's given over here. This might help you because most of the students, they come back and they say, we we know how to evaluate, but we don't exactly know what evaluation is. मतलब हम भी judgment भी दे देते हैं, agreement disagreement की reasons भी दे देते हैं. But how do we differentiate between evaluation analysis? How do we differentiate between opinions and evaluation? It's very important to understand the structure of what evaluation is. Okay. So evaluation means looking at statements, thinking about ways in which they're justified, and to either accept the statement or reject it based on the evidence. So this is very important. Whenever a statement is given to you, statement, for example, could be an argument. Now you need to know whether that argument is justified or unjustified. And that too based on the evidence. So what is the evidence over here? That is reasoning. That is a sound reasoning process. Okay? So this is what evaluation is. So in your paper, obviously you're not asked to bring evidence from any external source. Your evidence will be your reasoning, that why you agree or why you disagree with information. Okay. Evaluation requires the ability to understand ideas, to synthesize them, and to logically reason with them. Understanding of ideas is very important. Argument hai kya? What is the writer talking about? Right? And then using that argument to creating a judgment on that argument and then giving your reason at the same time. This is very, very important. Okay. Um, let's look at an example. Here's an insert. This insert says, my best friendships happen online, but that doesn't make them any less valid. This is a text that is about friendships in an online setting. All right. And once you read all of these ideas, here's the question prompt. Let's first of all understand what the question will be about. Write a magazine article for young people about modern friendship. In your article, you should evaluate the ideas about friendship given in both texts. Explain based on what you read to what extent you think social media affects friendship. Okay. So there's another text as well, which is removed due to copyright. So we'll just focus on the first text over here. Okay. As you read the first text, we'll just pick up like one or two arguments to understand evaluation. Okay. You need to evaluate ideas about friendship. इसका मतलब ये है कि you need to provide your judgment on the ideas. Let's say if you're picking up 8 ideas, you need to see whether you agree or disagree with each one of them. And then your opinion will be to what extent you think social media affects friendship. This is your opinion. Acha. So let's just read the first 3 paragraphs and see if we can pick up an argument over here. Okay. We blame the internet for all human sins. It has grown popular to berate the internet for its role in our ever-growing loneliness epidemic. Scientists regularly release studies that suggest a correlation between social media use and loneliness, low self-esteem, and social isolation. But even they have to admit we do not know what came first, the loneliness or the social media. I'd like to defend the internet. I've just spent a year researching friendship for my book, which is about precisely this, the intersection between loneliness and friendship. I've spoken to countless people, both my own friends and strangers from the internet, who would simply not have access to some social life without social media. I know a woman who met all 3 of her bridesmaids, the women she cherishes the most in the world, online. She says she feels like her most authentic self when she's online. This is perhaps exactly the point. We can no longer quite so easily distinguish between our online selves and our real selves. We're becoming confident enough to merge our online and offline selves as we realize that social media is an important platform for friendship. Now, in this particular part of the text, the writer is trying to say that they're speaking in favor of online friendships, that people actually have met their best friends online. For example, they've given this example of a woman who met her bridesmaids online, and she cherishes these people a lot in the world. Now, this is an example. And then the writer is making another point that you cannot distinguish between your online self and your real self. So, you can sort of obviously merge offline and online friendships as well. Now, let's see how to evaluate an idea. Um, okay. For example, you're writing a magazine article now, and now you've picked up one of the arguments in which the writer says online friendships are not less valid. They're equally important. See this example. The first article I read, my best friendships happen online, but that doesn't make them any less valid. They've given reference to the article as well in their own magazine article. Discusses the topic of online friendships. In the article, the writer defends the idea of forming friendships on social media. The writer argues, now you see how they're claiming the point that's written in the passage. The writer argues that social media allows one to connect, strengthen bonds with others, and make new friends, allowing them to help fight the loneliness they feel. Furthermore, social media provides a place where anyone can freely express themselves just like they would in real life. Additionally, social media is now an important tool for people who find social interaction challenging in real life. Now, what the writer is doing here is they've written all the content points from the first passage. They've sort of summarized all the content points over here. And they've also provided a reference that in this first article, this is what the writer is talking about. But the problem over here is that this is all a summary. This is not evaluation, right? This is just a summary of the content points. Okay. Now, let's see how evaluation can be done. Let me just, okay. Text A discusses the positive aspects of friendships and argues that they're just as valid as face to face friendships. The author notes that the internet is often blamed for causing loneliness, low self esteem, and social isolation, but also highlights how it has enabled many people to form meaningful friendships. The author shares personal experiences for their online friendships, stating that they can be authentic and substantial despite the lack of physical proximity. Okay, the article also acknowledges the role of technology in social media. Okay, I think this is again the summary. Okay, I'll just pick up the same point from this one again. हम इसी को उठाते हैं. Yeah. All right. Now, if we are to provide an evaluation for this content point, instead of writing just one summary, okay, now you have two ways to follow. Either you could go with writing down an entire summary of all the points in one paragraph and then start evaluating one by one in the next one. For example, do you agree with this point? The social media allows one to connect, strengthen bonds with others, and make new friends, allowing them to fight loneliness. Your evaluation could be, I agree with this point because in the growing world, I'm just providing reasons on top of my head, okay? In the growing world, because of how busy people are getting, it's difficult for humans to maintain social interaction offline. So social media allows people to connect with one another despite managing their busy schedules. Okay? This is basically the evaluation of the same text, where you have given a reason for your agreement and you've clearly stated that you agree, which is your judgment, and you have a reason for that as well. Okay. Evaluation entails making judgments once again that you not only take in the words that you see in the text, also contextualize them to your own situation and your own understanding. Okay, it's important. Um, so these three steps over here, understanding, logically reasoning the context of the text, and synthesizing the information. All of this is just a summary of what I've just told you. Your understanding of the text is important. You should know what the argument is about, what the writer is talking about. Logical reasoning, you need to first of all decide whether you agree with this or disagree with this, and then think of a reason for that. Okay. So, all right. All of this over here is these points over here will help you understand how evaluation can be done on the same passage. For example, the evaluation we just try to make on our own, it could either be talking about the strengths and weaknesses of an argument, could be comparing or contrasting ideas in the texts, could be presenting alternative viewpoints, could be discussing the implications, right? So this is all that you can sort of talk while providing different reasons. Okay. Um, all right. Now we're supposed to, I'll just show you one question so we can go over an example response now.